Hey, I'm Gavin, and I just recorded something very long. And at the end, I had said that I care. I think the last thing I said was, "Is this a prayer?" And I said, "I think it is, and maybe this is why I should not share it." Jesus taught to go pray, kind of in a private room, something like a closet, and so I think I'm realizing that a lot of these things that I record, it's just facilitating an environment that's conducive for prayer. It's a it's a speaking and listening, trying to get close to God. So I don't know, over 40 minutes of prayer, and it's good. I don't feel that God wants me to share my prayers with y'all, and I think Jesus taught against it. But what comes out of it at the end of the day is, man, I love my wife. She's my favorite person in the whole world. And the most joy, my being close to my wife brings about the most joy. And then, my children, um, they are right there. I love my children so much, and my being close to my children brings about so much joy. And I was able to work yesterday, and there was a problem. It's like my job is I'm like a firefighter, and that's where I've ended up. I take all the experience and skills I've developed, and I get to use them in fighting a fire. And my customers, every time there's a fire, my customer is not happy. It's some customer. And sometimes some fires impact more customers than others. So this was a smaller fire yesterday, and if I'm doing my job well, and if we are doing our job well, there's less fires and they have less impact. So sometimes maybe the lack of fires actually impacts my life as well. But we had a little one yesterday, and I don't even know if it impacted our customers, but it may have just impacted our customer support, which is good if it's just our customer support, not our customers. But I enjoyed going in and helping solve the problem, seeing the thing, dig in and solve the problem that's hard to solve, and trying to be of service. I enjoyed, there's people in YouTube land, on the internet, Discord land, Twitter. Sometimes people will ask me to help solve some kind of technical problem, and I enjoy doing that as well. So yeah, if you have technical problems, I actually enjoy volunteering my time helping to solve technical problems. And I appreciate those of you who feel comfortable, asking for help with that. You can connect with me on Discord. It's the same handle in Discord as this YouTube channel. Right in Christ. RIGHTINCHRIST. That's my Discord handle. I also have a Twitter handle. I think it's at hero_LFG, HERO_LFG. But yeah, I enjoy those. That's where my joy. Yesterday I prayed for joy, if God would allow it, and then I just had my eye out throughout the day for joy. And so I noticed these things that brought joy. And it's a true joy being in relationship with people where there is a kind of interaction which facilitates the getting closer to God. And so in my prayer earlier, I felt it. And I'd say my early brother, I got a brother I talk to at 4 a.m. I can feel that it happens sometimes, not every time. I can feel it when it happens, and I got my brother. This is my 7:30 a.m. brother. And then my wife is like the 5 a.m. So I get all these interactions, even some scheduled interactions. And then we're able to provide counsel for each other. And man, I enjoy that. That feeling of being of service, providing counsel, and receiving it and giving it, they're both wonderful. The peace of God that comes in doing these things is amazing. It's not the same thing as joy, but it's just, it's indescribable. If you've never experienced it, I could not describe it to you. It'd be like, trying to explain the taste of a banana to someone who's never tasted a banana. It's just words would not be adequate. So yeah. Been doing wrestling. I'm going through, I hang out in the book of Matthew a lot. I hang out, I try to understand what the teachings mean, and I find that I see many interpretations, and I see interpretations that disagree with other people, other Christians. So I wrestle with that. But I think what would be good, the thing that I want is just these relationships where we are able to help each other, have the peace of God. So even when we have disagreements, it would be good. Yeah, I'll just point out there's a kind of Christian that I'm the kind of Christian. There's a temptation within the Christians to use violence. For example, spanking the children. And so spanking the children is a tool. And it's a tool that can be useful when there's a sense of urgency. There is a tsunami. This happens in the world, or there is a volcano. And maybe there could be a sense of urgency, and it's like, you will do what I tell you to do because I know something that's very important, and there's a sense of urgency. We will all die if you do not do what I tell you to do. And in those situations, they need to know, it's helpful for them to know, I will whoop your ass if you do not listen to me. You will listen to me. And then you also, as a father, need to know if that's going to work with your children. So you need to have that sense of urgency, tone of voice, seriousness, and that will cause obedience in a time and an emergency. These are good things. There's things that aren't so severe, like when you see a predator who wants to steal your child. Maybe there's a sense of urgency. This has happened. My wife has experienced this. And so it's good to be able to do that. And maybe with some children it does not require spanking, and some children it does. Who are you to say what does and does not work for each child? Oh, arrogant person in the audience. Who are you to judge all children and all people? So every situation, there may be situations that demand a sense of urgency, and there may be children where a spanking would help in making sure that there is obedience, so that the good happens in that urgent situation. The temptation, as a father who has spanked all of my children, is to use the spanking when there is not a sense of urgency. And so for selfish reasons of just my wanting to just lay in bed and watch a movie and having the children not listen, and now I need to sacrifice what I want in order to go tend to the child. And I say that child, the word child, with a little bit of, maybe it's a derogatory, but also knowing that we are all children. So being a father who would use violence towards children there's parallels with people in the military and in law enforcement. And so I would love to be part of a community where I could provide counsel to military and law enforcement, these people who would use violence. And so there are people on the internet right now who call themselves Christians who are advocating for being prepared to be a weapon and use a weapon. And I'm not saying they are wrong, but I can say that I don't want to just give my attention to those people if they aren't wanting to give and receive counsel with me in order and enter into fellowship with me. I just can't do that because it drives me crazy, me personally. It's like I see them needing counsel and I'm unable to provide it for them. And I use this as an extreme example. The Christians who would be a weapon and would use a weapon, I would like to provide counsel to those Christians. So yeah, these are the things that give me joy, is being able to provide counsel to Christians, to receive counsel from Christians, because I practice being humble. I practice making Jesus my King. And my Jesus is humble enough to wash the feet of those in the lowest class, and is willing to go after the tax collectors and the prostitutes, and to wash their feet and sit at the table with them, sit at their table. So I'm not saying that I am as good as Jesus, but I do practice. That is who I believe Jesus is. I have my Jesus that I'm trying to understand Jesus, and hopefully it's not just my bias, and then I'm attempting to practice developing my understanding of who Jesus is and developing my capacity to be of service to my King. For some reason I feel like crying, but I don't know really why. There's a peace. It's not a sadness. It's joyful tears. There's a pain in the heart. It might be a longing. I think that's what it is. It would be good, in my mind, it would be good if the life I've had was connected to being of service. And so, I don't know if I need to just ignore all the wisdom that I've learned through throughout my life and career. Like, I don't feel like that's what I should do. And I'm trying to learn to avoid accusing people. I'm practicing avoiding accusing people. Because when I share what I'm seeing, it happens that people feel attacked and accused. And so I'm trying to learn how to be of service with my actions, including my words. I heard something good today. The old timers say, because I'd pointed out that there are these people who have been practicing and serving longer than me. And so I can look at the people who are doing really good work in the world when it comes to being of service with their words and their actions. And, meanwhile I'm, stumbling. I'm on the path and I'm stumbling. And so the response to me was, these old timers have a saying that those who are further along the path, who've been walking along the path for longer, they're no further away from the ditch than you are. And so it's a good image to keep in mind. So no matter how long you've been walking the path and practicing being of service, falling off the path into the ditch, it can happen to anyone. That ditch is not very far away, no matter how far along the path you've been walking. So that's a good image. Hope y'all have a good one. Whoa, my mic. Sorry about that. Hope you have a good one. I had the thought, the way a father behaves depends on the God they worship and serve. Another way to say it is, the way a father and husband behaves, the way a person behaves in all of their roles and responsibilities depends on who is their king, who is their Lord, who is their master. I thought it was good. Yeah, you can have a lot of influence in the world, depending on which master you serve. And so it would be good to try and know the best master, the best king, and to practice serving, the best master, the best king. And then this is where I could get into territory where I accuse people. But yeah, put forth the effort. Try to improve your knowledge of the best king, the best God, the best master, the best Lord. Yeah, really try that. And that means knowing how they would behave in that situation that you find yourself in. And so you could maybe look at the way other people treat you and then ask, is that the way the best Lord, Master, King, God would behave? And you could try to imagine, if you were in their shoes, how you would have behaved and maybe how your God would have behaved. Yeah, and then you just practice because, in my experience, we stumble. We will stumble. And we will, we may cause others to stumble too, which is a stumbling on our part as well. Let me know what you think.